The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Diaspora Doodles, where I get to chronicle the events of my life and what led me to the point where I can now speak 7 languages, have lived everywhere, and I've got children who are polyglot and third culture children. If this is your first time here, please grab a drink, make yourself comfortable. We don't want you uncomfortable. This is story time, so you need to get comfy. And yeah, come on in. I'll make sure that you're well entertained. If you've been here before and you've watched my videos, thank you so much. A good storyteller is never complete without an audience, so thank you for being my audience. I am Janet and I was born in Nigeria. I was born in Lagos, a place that has gotten a lot of media attention because of all the tech and all the people and the noise and the melody. And yeah, I was born there. But when I was 2 weeks old, my parents moved up north to a place called Kaduna, which used to be the capital of the north when it was still the Northern Protectorate under colonial rule. Now I grew up in Kaduna, and that means I can't identify as a third culture child, mainly because a third culture child is someone who grows up in a place that's different from where the parents are from, which means that I will go out into the society and I will mingle with people from a different culture, different from what I would normally get at home. Now, I enjoyed it because it meant that I could speak one language at home, my home language, and then another language outside of home. I picked up Hausa, even though I could speak Yoruba, even though my parents were from neither place. I was so used to saying hello 1 minute and then goodbye in another minute. It was fun. It wasn't fun at the time, but it helped me pick up skills that I use today. And I will be showing you those skills, or I'll be listing out those skills in another video. Now, to continue with this video talking about who I am. As I grew up, I managed to get a degree in microbiology, and it was fun. I was going to go on to study medicine, or I was going to go on to the medical field and be a doctor, cure cancer, help babies, because I really like pediatrics. But then I got married and the traveling, relocation, everything happened, and it didn't come as a surprise to people when my young family moved out of the country. We still carried on moving everywhere, which made it really difficult for me to practice in the healthcare sector, because moving from one place to the other, especially when you move countries, meant that you would be in one country 1 minute where you can practice, and then when you move to another country, you can't practice in that country. And you have to get certified in that country, you have to get all the qualifications. And it usually meant for me that as soon as I start working towards getting qualified in that country, it will be time for us to move again. And it was just so daunting for me. So I was feeling a bit low. So I decided that, you know what, I'll go hang out at my son's school and still get the chance to mingle. I couldn't be in a country where I'll take my son to school and then come back home and then do what? Sit down at home until it's time to pick him up. I couldn't do that. I had to mingle, I had to adapt, I had to learn the language, I had to learn the culture. I'd done it before, so I knew the steps that I had to take. So I went into my son's nursery and I volunteered. It was the best decision of my life. I found out that I loved it immensely. And while I was at the school, because I was volunteering, the school decided to put me on a few courses. They just threw some courses my way, like, you're already giving us your time without pay. Do you want to do this? I'll be like, yes. Do you want to do that? Yes. It was more socializing for me, actually, but I enjoyed every single step of the process. And then I decided that I was going to be a teacher. So I went off to the UK. I got 2 offers, actually 3 offers. I got one from the University of Canterbury. I got another offer from the University of Worcester, and then I got one from the University of Sunderland. I looked at my 3 offers, and being the adventurous person that I am, I decided to go to Sunderland. Cold didn't bother me. I thought, I'll go. And then I went to Sunderland and got my degree, and I got my degree from the University of Sunderland, and I was very, very happy. Now, while I was doing that, someone introduced me to international school teaching. I thought, oh, do I really want to do it? Do I really want to start moving my family again? I know how I felt when I was younger and I was moving about so much. I would make friends, and just as I was getting really comfortable with my friends, it was time to move again, which was not what a child really wanted. But what I saw next blew me away. Now stay tuned, because you would understand why it blew me away. I went online, filled out the forms that I was given, and I thought I'll send it in. While I was waiting for that, I got a job to teach at a school in the UK. Shout out to my people in Worcester. I got a job in Worcester, and I took it. Now, while I was just starting that job, I got a response from the school. And the school asked me to, interview with them. I thought, what can I lose? I'll do it. So I went off, did the interview, thought nothing about it, went back to my job, and I carried on doing my job. Now, I got an email one day saying they liked me and that they wanted me to come. They liked my experience. They liked that I'd been to several countries by this point, and I'd been to a couple of countries by this point, and they wanted me to come out and work with them because I had an international experience that they wanted on their workforce. They wanted the diversity, they wanted the experience, they wanted the exposure, and they wanted someone who was already comfortable with the idea of something new, starting something new. Then they sent me the contract, and I thought, woo, yes, please. The contract had return airfares for myself and for my children, my family, and there was health insurance thrown in, accommodation was thrown in. I can't even name. Do you know what? I'll have to leave that for another video. I'll take you through the steps, and I'll tell you what to expect from a good international posting. You will join me. I loved it. It was good. In the UK, I could barely meet up with a few things like my bills and all that. And now someone was offering me all of that to do the same thing I was doing in the UK. I took it. And then I got there and I found out that the classroom sizes were smaller. In the UK, I had 31 children in my classroom. Out in Oman, it was Oman at the time, out in Oman, I think I had 12 children, which was significantly less. I thought, yes, good decision. And ever since then, I have not looked back. One of the things I like about international school teaching is the fact that it's a very multinational environment. It's like being in the United Nations, but in a little school. And I loved it. My children, I got tuition waiver for my children, so my children could attend the same international school where I was working. I loved every single moment of it. Would I go back to teaching in maybe my home country? You have to stay tuned because that's another episode. I will have to enumerate that for you, and I'll tell you the pros and the cons. But right now, I'm enjoying international school teaching, and it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life, and I would advise anyone to do it. So comment below if you're about to start an international school career to become an expat teacher. Why would you want to do it? Would you like some help? Comment down below, ask me questions down below, and I will do my best to answer. Remember, I'm not a recruiting agent. I've been in positions I've been in lead positions, I've had headship roles, but I'm not a recruiting agent. There are lots of recruiting agents out there, and I'm very happy to take you through the steps so that you can join us in the international school setting. My international school setting, the first school I went to, it was an eye-opener. It was something that I will always cherish and remember for the rest of my life. I think none of us were prepared for what happened. I mean, Glenn, who had probably never seen someone like this before. But my job there was not just to teach the curriculum, it was to provide a perspective. It was to provide a global view. It was to provide inclusion. I was there to provide a different perspective that spans the different cultures. At that school, there were people from Germany, from America, from the UK, and there were people from South Africa, New Zealand. It was like being in like a mini United Nations. So our job there was to provide inclusion, representation, globalization, having a broader perspective. It was usually, the children were usually from homes who wanted to give their children a global perspective without actually sending them to all these different countries. I mean, you can send your children to school and they will still get a global perspective that they would not get if they had gone to a homogeneous school where there'll be just one nationality and, they will not give them that perspective of being a global citizen. Every time I walked along the corridor, I was breaking stereotypes. The children got to understand me, they got to know me, they got to understand where I was from. Sometimes I would put my hair like this, sometimes I would have my hair it will be in natural state, and they were always blown away. I will tell you so much more about that. Now, I look back with satisfaction at what I achieved at that school, because not only was it an eye-opening experience for me and my children, it was also an eye-opening experience for the school community and the wider community. And after I left that school, I know that 3 more people who look like me from Africa were hired, and because they saw the beauty of having someone that will bring that global perspective to the school, will bring the diversity to the school. Have I enjoyed it? Yes. 20 years of doing this, would I do something different? No, I would not. I would continue doing this for as long as I can, and yeah, as long as they'll have me, I will go. Oh, I've not been to Antarctica, so I'm waiting for someone to actually build a school in Antarctica so that I can go there and teach and then cross off the last continent. So let me know. Is this something that will interest you? Would you work abroad? Would you be an international school teacher? Would you be an expat school teacher? Yeah? If you've done this before, comment down below. I'd love to swap stories and share experiences and learn. I'm still learning. I'm still doing this after so long, and I've enjoyed it. And yeah, it's amazing. So please write down below if you've done this before, so we can actually swap stories and other people can join in our family as it grows. Would you do the same thing though? Would you do what you did before if you're an international school teacher? Or would you change things and do things differently now? Comment down below and let me know. Let me know. I would really like to know. If you've got any more tidbits to offer as well, that's a good thing. Please comment down below and let's share this. If you would not be an international school teacher, an expat school teacher, why? Let me know. I would like to know, because it's nice to have a different perspective. Thank you so much for joining me today and listening to my story. Like I said, a good storyteller is not complete without an audience. So thank you for being my audience today. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Bye.